First time in a few years, they are not the Super Bowl favorites going into the season. Over the last 6 seasons, the Chiefs are batting .742. They're winning about 3/4 of their games. The Peyton Manning-led Broncos were the last team, other than the Chiefs, to win the AFC West. That was Denver's Super Bowl winning team back in 2015. All right, let's take you to our live Cabana cam. Charles Davis joining us from vacation. It's called vacation for a reason, Charles, but you're still working with us. What's up?
Chris, you know me. I'm not going to let anyone Wally Pipp me, man. There's just no way. If there's an opportunity to work, I want to be there. Okay, Wally Pipp had a headache. Lou Gehrig, 2,130 games later, gave up first base. I want to keep my spot and keep hanging with you, and my apologies that I'm not as choked down and looking as sharp as you are. Just not that kind of day here. That's all.
Maybe
and by the way,
around.
before we even begin, let me tell you how much help I've gotten here. All right. To stage this shot, Joanne, Mike, Bob, and Julie, who I just met here, helped me stage this shot and make this all work. Now, how cool is that for togetherness, for brotherhood, and we just met some of the nicest people you're going to ever meet. It's really cool.
Looks like it's going to be a fun week for you, Charles, and the sun might be peeking out in just a little bit. I know it's been raining there for you, so we'll try to get you out of here quickly. Let's talk AFC West and the Chiefs in particular. We're going to talk a couple of teams in the AFC West with you. The Chiefs are the team that's won this 6 consecutive years. They're the favorites once again, but a lot of experts believe the gap has really closed. Let's go line by line here with the Chiefs. Start with their best move this offseason.
Well, to me, it's not even a player. It's Eric Bieniemy being retained as offensive coordinator. Chris, you remember all the discussion that's gone on over the last 3 years or so about Eric Bieniemy becoming a head coach in the NFL. That has not happened. But there was also a big discussion this past year that his contract was ending, that he would go somewhere else and try and be an OC and try and make his bones again somewhere else and then become a head coach. Their ability to retain him, I think, is huge because there's been a lot of change on that offense in Kansas City. But having Eric Bieniemy as the OC, Patrick Mahomes trusts him, Travis Kelce trusts him. A lot of guys on that team really like Eric Bieniemy. I think that's been their best move this offseason.
Yeah, they've gone into the last, I would say, up to 3 off seasons now, thinking that Bieniemy was probably going to get a head coaching job, and it just has not happened yet for him, but that's good news for the Chiefs. How about the most questionable move that they've made this offseason? And you say it involves a position that they didn't address until round 7 of the NFL draft. What is it?
Yeah, it's a real minor one, Chris, but I thought they might go grab a running back earlier. It's a pretty decent running back draft. No one was going to go probably in the first round unless it was Breece Hall, and he was the first running back off the board in the second round to the Jets. But I thought they might go grab another runner because of the injury issues with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Derek Gore was coming back, but they made a big move this offseason that allowed them not to go into the 7th round, not to draft a running back until the 7th round, and that was Isaiah Pacheco out of Rutgers. That was getting Ronald Jones from Tampa Bay. And if he can step up and play to the Ronald Jones level we've seen at times in Tampa, then it's a non-issue. But I really thought they might bring in a younger runner for more competition. I think getting Ronald Jones eliminated that.
All right, so some veterans at the running back position for Kansas City, most likely this season, barring a bunch of injuries. How about a rookie, though, that you think could jump in and make a positive impact for the Chiefs in 22?
Not just, I think it's not just that I think he has to. And that's Trent McDuffie, their first-round pick, the corner out of Washington. Because remember, Charvarius Ward, a starter for them throughout this run, no longer there. Rashad Fenton, is he going to be the guy on the other side? L'Jarius Sneed, they'd like to use him all over the place, right? DeAndre Baker, who they got from the Giants, a former first-rounder, hasn't exactly stepped up and seized the position. So to me, Trent McDuffie's got to be the guy right from the beginning. Because, by the way, I think we all noticed this offseason, it is now quarterback central in the AFC West. Russell Wilson in Denver. Derek Carr remains in Las Vegas. And Justin Herbert keeps getting better with the Los Angeles Chargers.
And they got McDuffie with the 21st pick overall in the draft. How about Tyreek Hill being traded to the Dolphins? We know that Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, and he still has his security blanket at the tight end position in Travis Kelce, maybe the best tight end we've ever seen in the NFL. But which wide receiver do you think, and they've picked up a few, is going to step up and be the number one wide receiver target for Mahomes?
Well, we heard George Kittle talk about, listen, Travis Kelce's underrated. He's really a wide receiver. But to me, it's Juju Smith-Schuster coming over from Pittsburgh. We know that he plays the slot primarily. To me, he has to step up and be the Juju Smith-Schuster we've seen from a few years ago. Catch 90 to 100 passes. But here's the big one, Chris. He's got to increase his yards after catch. His last full season with Pittsburgh, he averaged less than 10 yards a catch. I think he was actually at around 9 yards a catch. That's just not acceptable for them. They need him to eat up catches, become a dependable target for Patrick Mahomes, and allow Marquez Valdez-Scantling to really get his feet wet in Kansas City and become a deep threat. For Sky Moore, their second-round pick, to develop along the way. But to me, it's Travis Kelce, and obviously Juju Smith-Schuster has to be wide receiver one in the early going.
Lots of eyeballs on the Chiefs because Tyreek Hill is no longer there, because things have changed a little bit and the division is getting better. And early on, they are going to be challenged a lot in their schedule. I think 5 or 6 playoff teams in the first half of their schedule. How important is that first half going to be?
It's very important, Chris. Their first 7 games before they get to their open week, you mentioned it, 5 playoff teams in their first 7. 4 of their first 7 on the road, 3 of their first 4 on the road. They open up at Arizona with Kyler Murray and crew. The Chargers at home. How about the Colts, who thought they should have been in the playoffs last year, now have Matt Ryan? Then they go see TB12 and the Buccaneers. The Raiders, the Bills in that huge rematch at home. And then San Francisco went to the NFC title game. That's for those first 7, vital for this team. And it's really tough, much tougher for them because of the changes they're having to make on offense. How fast can everyone get comfortable with each other in the early going?
All 4 years Mahomes has started, they've won 12 or more games. How many wins for the Chiefs this season? Again, like last season, 17 games now in the NFL.
I'm going with 12 again, Chris, and it's going to be a tough 12 because of what we just talked about with the schedule. But I also think that this is a team that deliberately has gotten younger, deliberately has brought in fresh blood and energy. Brett Veach, the general manager, Andy Reid, the head coach. They've had to bring in new guys because at one point last year when they left Nashville, Tennessee, Chris, they were 3-4 and just gotten blown out by the Tennessee Titans. And they look like an aging fighter who might have been shot. So many deep playoff runs, so many battles in the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl multiple times. But they picked themselves up off the mat and got it done again and got to the AFC title game. I think this new blood is vital for them. I think that is a huge, huge deal for Kansas City. If they can weather the storm early, I think they'll be really dangerous down the stretch.
Over-under for wins in Las Vegas, 10.5. Charles likes the over and going with 12. What ultimately do you see the Chiefs accomplishing this season?
Win the division again, although they will be tested, as we've talked about, in a big way by I think, the Chargers, by the Raiders, by the Broncos. I do see them finding a way to fight their way to the AFC title game, but it's a lot to ask for another Super Bowl appearance. But I do think this team is going to be awfully dangerous. Again, if they weather those first 7 really well, oh boy, look out. Because if somehow those receivers develop around Mahomes and that defense continues to get younger and faster, and they have to get going really fast too, because remember, Tyrann Mathieu is no longer there to cover up a few mistakes on the back end.
How about Mahomes, 8-1 to win the MVP award? How much more pressure is going to be on him now that he is looked at as, the quarterback in the NFL, at least definitely top 2 or 3, if not the best, and now without Tyreek Hill, his number 1 receiver?
Oh, I think it's pressure that he's welcoming because he's hit that time in his career where he's no longer just a kid gunslinger. He's now the true leader of this team, and he has been for a while, but there have been other veterans around. But he is truly the guy. Tyreek Hill no longer there. Well, that's a sign of confidence that Patrick Mahomes is going to make other people better. And that's what Kansas City's counting on. I think at this stage of his career, at this stage of his life, about to be 27 years old, that's meeting the moment. I'm not sure he wins the MVP, Chris. That's a hard one to handle. But at the same time, he's still going to be one of the most valuable players in the NFL. And if they have that playoff run that I expect, it will be because Patrick Mahomes is guiding this team.
Josh Allen, the only other player with higher odds, shorter odds to win the MVP right now, and the Bills, the only team in the AFC with better odds to win it all than the Kansas City Chiefs. sign up for an AFC Championship game between the Bills and Chiefs right now. We can't wait to see those two match up again. Charles Davis with us here as we break down the Kansas City Chiefs. He talked about those first 7 games. 5 of those first 7 opponents made the postseason last season. If they can negotiate those first 7, they should be just fine, as they're the first team in NFL history to start with 8 straight games against teams with a winning record in the prior season, because after the bye in Week 8, they also get the Titans, who were the 1 seed in the AFC last season.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.